Hey everyone, welcome to my tutorial series on retouching. For this part of the series we are going to be working with the eyes. We will be doing things like removing the red spots and removing the bloodshots of the eyes, adding detail to the iris, making the iris sharper, which will make them really pop out. Well, let's get started. I always start retouching edits by duplicating the background layer. That way we will not be touching the original image and we can see our before and after the retouching we do. First thing we'll do is we'll start with the iris. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Oops. Did not mean to do that? Don't crop. Okay. We're going to grab the elliptical marquee tool. Make sure you're getting really good. Put the cursor right in the center of the eye. Start to click and drag, and once you do that, hold down Alt and Shift. That way we can get a nice perfect circle around the iris. Do the same thing with the other eye. There you go. Now what you want to do is you want to feather it. So go to Select, Modify Feather. Now for the pixels, it really depends on how big the image is. If the image is large, we'll use a higher number of pixels. If it's smaller, we'll use a smaller pixel. So I'm going to use 20 for this image. Once you do that, hit Control J. What Control J does is, whatever was in the selection, it's going to copy that to a new layer. So, once you do that, change the layer mode, the blending mode, to screen. Makes a nice bright image. But as you can see, it goes past the eye, and you can see it going right up by the eyelid. So what you do is just grab the eraser, make it smaller, and zoom in and just get rid of that extra screen that overlapped the eyelid. To scroll back and forth like this, just simply hold down the spacebar and click and drag. It's a really good useful thing, especially when you're working in high zoom levels. Quickly maneuver around the canvas. There you go. Now, obviously this looks a little fake, so we play around with the opacity. I usually have it between 70 and 80. Then again, it really depends on the image, so just gotta play around with it. I think that looks good. Usually I merge it down, that way I keep everything on a separate layer that I edit. It's really up to you. Some people, they don't like to merge it down, because in case they want to later on go and edit the layer, or for whatever reason. I just do this just to keep the layer palette clean. Next thing we're going to do is, we're going to add a dark ring around the eye. This will really help it pop out. I'm using a special brush to do this. I can include the brush in the description if you want. Notice I use a mouse wheel, that way I can get a perfect circle around it. Click. Oh, sorry. When I do this, I actually do it on a new layer. That way I can change the layer blending mode to a different layer, and it won't affect the overall image. So that's good. Grab the eraser tool, erase what we don't need. Now you notice I just keep clicking, that way I can get a nice good eraser. Looks good to me. Usually I'll change the layer mode to soft light. A lot of people use overlay, but it still looks a little too dark. Soft light to me looks a little bit natural. So, yeah. Zoom out. You can play with the opacity here too. Usually I have it around 70, so it's not too light, not too dark. As you can see, the eyes are already really nice popping out. Go ahead and merge that one down. Now we're going to start working on the white parts of the eye. There's different ways we can do this, but the way I do it is just a quick and easy way of doing it. So let's get started. First, I usually start with the bloodshots, and if they have contact lens, I work on getting rid of that line. I'm going to use the spot healing brush tool. Make sure you zoom in good. Now for the brush size, you want it almost exactly the same, as the white line, but just a tad bigger. If it's any bigger, then it's gonna look weird and it's gonna like make it blurry and all pixelated. So sometimes it doesn't do it on the first try, so you just go over it a couple more times. Really cleans it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. These big red patches right here, you don't have to worry about that. We're going to be using the clone stamp tool to fix that up. Just want to get the lines first. That's good. Now notice, see how when I do the line, I'm going to do it from edge to edge. The reason I'll do that is, when you do it from edge to edge with the spot healing tool, I'll do this for example. It messes up the edge. I don't know if you can see that. Like I'll do this for example right here. It makes it weird looking. It like kind of goes too much. So I'll do that later on. I just do the main section first. And I just click a couple times on the edge and it should do a better job. As if you were to just drag and go like this, see there's already a line there. Doesn't look good. So now for the red spots, like I was saying, I use the clone stamp tool. When you go to sample it, don't sample right next to it, sample away and make it a white spot. See, as you can see, the cursor gets brighter and brighter. That's why you want to sample it away. Now, again, this doesn't have to be perfect because we'll be adjusting the opacity. Kind of want to even out the texture and make it look smooth. See our before and after. Looks much better. That's good. Now what I do is I'll duplicate this layer. I'll change the layer mode to screen. Oops. That way, obviously, as you can see, it brightens up the whole entire image. We don't want that. We want just the white part to be bright. So what we do is make an inverted layer mask. To do that, we hold down the Alt key and push this little layer mask icon right here. Since it's a layer mask, but it's inverted, so to bring back the white, it's on a black layer mask. Change the brush to white, the foreground color to white, and we'll get a light, small brush. Just go ahead and brush back everything in here. Don't be afraid to go outside the line. That's the awesome thing about working with layer masks. Is if you go outside the line, instead of having to worry about erasing, just simply change the foreground color back to black. I'll show you. See? Then we can get a nice perfect brush. Sometimes what I do is I'll make the brush really big and just click once or twice. That way it doesn't look so fake. And the corner is the eyes. Change it back to black, reverse. Make it bigger, click a couple times. Corner of the eye. There we go. Now obviously that looks a little fake, so again we play around with the opacity. I usually use between 30 and 40. But it's good to flick on and off, just see if it looks realistic or not. I got a little bit right there, I need to erase that. Make sure the layer mask is selected. That's pretty good to me. Again, I'll merge it down. So far we can see our before and after. Looks pretty good. Now for the next step, the irises look good, but I want to make them even look really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the sharpen tool. Make sure the protect detail is on. That's the only way this method will work. And when you go to use this method, just make sure it's as wide as the iris. Now, duplicate the layer again. Now when you go to use the Sharpie tool, do not let go of the mouse. Do it all in one motion. The reason you want to do this is because it keeps everything even and you're not rebrushing what you already brushed over it. Don't be afraid to go outside the line a little bit. It's okay. I just now let go. Do the same thing on the other eye. Brush it all over it without letting go of the mouse. As you can see, it brings back the detail quite pretty good. As you notice though, it's a little fuzzy down here in the bottom, so I'm going to go over those a couple times. I am constantly clicking on this one though. Just swipe, let go, click again, swipe, let go, click again, swipe. Trying to bring that detail back. Pretty big difference there. Go ahead and merge that down. Now sometimes people will have like a lazy eye or an eye will be slanted a little bit, and depending if the subject wants that eye to be fixed or not, you can always fix it easily. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Go ahead and make a selection with the rectangular tool around the eye. Make sure you get everything. Once again, hit Ctrl J, which makes a copy of it. Hit Ctrl T, and we'll right click it and click flip horizontal. Just drag it right over. Change the opacity around like 40, so we can get a good look on it. Just line it up right with the eye. Use the arrow keys. That really helps. Push enter. Maybe you want to move it up just a little bit. Oops. Change possibly 100. See what I'm looking at is I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this right here. Just make sure they line up straight. Looks good to me. Now you get the eraser tool. Get a nice medium size. Push the hardness all the way down to 0. And just gently erase over around the edges of it. It should blend in quite nicely. Here's before, after. Again, that depends if the subject wants their eye to be fixed or not, because obviously it just makes it look faker. Or more fake, I should say. Again, just merge down. Start before and after. Well, I hope you enjoyed my tutorial on eye retouching. I hope you learned some tips to use in your future edits. Thanks for watching.